You know, so often people think that the serve is a very different type stroke. But watch carefully. And then I sneak in a serve. But notice that the serve looks almost like the initial approach to a forehand. That's the type motion you want. But what do most people think the image is? They say, well, you start with the ball and racket in front, you go down together, up together, scratch the back and swing. But that's not the way it is at all. Now, the serve is very similar to a ball throw. But most people who have trouble on the serve also have trouble throwing a ball. So let's go through it. When you're going to throw a ball, you come back, the hand is down, the palm is down. That's very important because when you throw a ball, the hand must pass between the elbow and the head. When you're going to serve, you want to have the palm down on the serve because the racket must pass between the hand and the head. So now when you get ready, it does this. But if you come back and turn the palm up, you eliminate the loop behind your back because it's impossible to pass the racket between the hand and the head. So put the palm down when you go to swing. On the grip on the serve, we'll hold the palm on side number 2, the continental grip. It'll look like this. Notice how you throw a ball. When you come back to throw, the hand is down. But notice what happens to the second hand. That's the key. When you come back, the second hand follows the first hand. When you come back in this manner, both palms are down. But watch when I throw. Don't watch this one. Watch the second hand, or the one with the glove on it in baseball. Did you notice how this hand comes against the body? That's extremely important when you learn to serve. The function of this hand is to stop the shoulder and transfer the energy out to the forearm. That makes it whip. It gives you boom. Now watch what happens when you serve. The same thing will take place. All good servers, without exception, the left hand does not come down the left side of the body. Just as they hit, the left hand crosses in front of the body, stops the shoulder momentarily, transfers the energy out to the forearm, and makes the racket snap. That's the power system. Deceleration, acceleration. Where do you throw the toss, and how high do you throw the toss? Well, remember the hand comes up like this, follows this hand, and you'll see a little arc. It'll go like this. That will give you a rhythm, but most people think you throw the ball straight up and down right out in front of you, but it actually looks like the baseball glove when you throw the ball. If you throw the ball approximately 17 to 20 inches out of your outstretched hand, that'll be about the height out of your hand that the racket will be hitting the ball at the peak of the reach. Now here's the secret. When both arms come up together like this, you do not have to rush the racket because the ball has gone nowhere. So watch how much time I have to hit a ball even though there's a low toss. You don't have to rush anything. As a matter of fact, most people think a low toss will give you less time to make the hit. Wrong. If the two hands go together, now you'll have almost 10 times longer to hit a ball because you can hit it just before the peak, at the peak of the toss, and just below. But if you throw the ball high, it drops through the hitting zone. Watch what happens if you have the typical trophy look. The left hand goes up first. The racket is down. But now you must calculate gravity. And when this left hand goes up in the air, if it reaches the peak, for example, 2 full seconds before this racket swings, you must throw the ball about 48 feet in the air. That means someone on the 4th floor should see you tossed. So don't give us the trophy look. Bring both hands together like you're going to throw the ball. Now you get a nice, easy rhythm, and you get more time to swing. Where do you throw the ball on the serve, and how do you hold the ball? Well, you can hold it any way you want to. Most people hold the ball with the palm up. Some hold it with the side up. and many of the top players hold it palm down. Now, when you throw the ball, it should be to the right of your head. The reason for that is when you unwind your shoulders, it throws the racket out to the right, whether you like it or not. If you throw the ball straight out in front, you now turn, the ball's not here, it's out there. So here's what it looks like. Now you lose all of the power. The minute your racket begins to make an angular change, you lose all the power. So throw it out to the right. Now watch again. I'll throw the ball to the right. Keep your head up, but the power system is out here. If you draw a line from this shoulder to this shoulder, that's where the power is, here. It's not here. Watch. You know, one of the most common terms used on the serve is scratch your back. I say if you don't use that term properly and don't think about it properly, it can kill your serve. For example, when you come back arm in hand, you now start to set up a rhythm, and they go this way. Now, when the racket is parallel to the ground, you begin to unwind the body. And just as on the forehand, the knees always arrive at the destination first. So it goes knees, hips, upper body, upper arm, forearm, and hand. 6 segments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chain of power always comes right up from the knees and hips and finishes up with the racket. All right? Now watch what happens when you try to scratch the back. Instead of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, people go, scratch that back and make that turn. Now, why do they pause like that? Because when you start to turn your body when the racket's parallel to the ground, you can scratch your back because you have so much force with this body that it throws the racket away from your body. It won't let you scratch the back. So what do people do? They accommodate the swing by stopping the body, scratching the back, and then turn. So instead of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they get... And then they look funny. Now what about people who throw funny? They do the same thing. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they go. That's the problem. Unwind. You can always tell people who only hit straight out in front of them and snap the hand, because if you watch, they always hit their legs. But you know something we forget is that when the racket comes back and you begin to uncoil your body, the racket goes way over to the right. It doesn't go down, up, up. It goes down, up, down, across to the right, and then the racket sits on the edge like this. It's a very difficult position to imagine. But then people say, well, how do you hit it? You don't hit it like this. Well, what happens is your racket begins to turn not with the wrist, but with the forearm. Boom, 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 hit. After you hit the ball, the racket actually continues off to the right because you've created so much force turning it out that you can't stop it. And that's why you get the funny look. And then it comes down the left side of the body. So it's really a loose forearm, not a wrist snap. And you don't hit it with a serve like this. You actually make that forearm unwind. So leave a loose elbow on the serve so the forearm is loose. As a matter of fact, with most of the top players in the game, we found there was no wrist movement or hand movement before the ball was even impacted. So think loose elbow and loose wrist. Don't just think wrist. A very important point on the serve is to keep your head up. When your head stays up, it standardizes the swing. But so many people are all set to hit, they look out, their body falls. Now you have a force going this way, a force going that way, and you get the resultant, which means the ball probably will go into the net. That's the average. So watch when I hit. Keep the chin up. Don't let the chin fall. And you do that by not playing into the box. You do that by keeping your eye glued on the ball. Wait until you see the forearm pass your eyes, then look out. And boy, that'll help stop the shoulder, transfer the energy into the forearm, and give you a big snap. All great players must learn how to control spin on the serve. Now, when you're serving and you turn around into the ball and you hit the ball squarely on the backside, that's a flat serve. Squarely on the back. And remember, you cannot hit down. The racket will probably be vertical at the impact point on nearly every flat serve. We did the famous basketball player Artis Gilmore, 7'2". He was too short to really hit down on the ball. Watch the flat serve in slow motion. The topspin serve is very important to learn because you can hit the ball hard, form the arc, just as you do on the forehand and backhand, and make the ball go over the net and down. How do you achieve topspin? Remember what we said, only one way. The racket must be vertical, going low to high. Same on the serve, the racket's vertical, going low to high. So on the topspin toss, can you throw the ball at the peak of your reach? Nope, you actually have to throw it lower. So now you go up this way. Topspin toss is actually lower and slightly a little bit more to the left. The slice serve puts sideways spin on the ball, and it can curve away from an opponent. Very important to know how to hit a slice so you can move your opponent way out of court. When you come up to hit the ball, rather than hitting flat behind the backside, you have the racket slightly tilted, going left to right. That produces the side spin, produces the curve, the same as a baseball pitcher pitches when they want to make the ball go away from the player. Watch a slice serve or a side spin serve in slow motion. The foot position on the serve is pretty simple. Usually the front foot will point out towards the net post, the back foot is parallel to the baseline. When you get ready to unwind, this foot comes up and across. You want one foot to be in contact with the ground all the time, the front foot, because when this foot is in contact with the ground and the shoulder stops, you can make the forearm snap. But if you jump off the ground before your forearm has achieved maximum speed, you lose power on the serve. So plant the foot, turn into the ball, make the hit. McEnroe stands like this sometimes, but if you watch him very carefully the next time, you'll see that this foot comes right back up, stops here, snaps. It is not a weird look like this. He brings it up, turns, and he has exactly the same position as anyone else. He starts like this because as a kid he had a bad back and he learned to get out of it. Now everybody is doing it, developing bad backs.